What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. This is going to be a little bit different, and I'm sure that you see a little bit different kind of look behind me because I'm changing up the camera that I'm really recording this with. So this is really going to be my kickoff to trying to do something new. I'm trying to figure out a way to make it a little bit easier so that way I can get you guys more videos. But if we're talking about what I'm going to be doing today, it's going to be shelf appeal. So to start off with, we're going to talk about Thanos number 10. So with Thanos number 10, what we see is a continuation of Jeff Lemire's story, which is really the story of Thane obsessing and finally acquiring the Phoenix Force as a kind of means to destroy his father and kind of build his own legacy. And this is all with the kind of encouragement of Lady Death, the once former, I wouldn't say lover, but the love interest of Thanos himself. And in this issue, we actually see Thanos kind of coming to terms with the fact, well, he's already known this for quite some time, but in this capacity, he sees what could be a perfectly peaceful life, being a good guy. And ultimately, he rejects it because he's Thanos and he wants to destroy the world. He wants to control and basically undermine anything that's out there. He wants to be the supreme ruler of the entire universe, if not destroy it. And I'm totally down with that kind of Thanos. The book itself is actually pretty good. The thing that I'm kind of a little bit concerned with is just the art itself, but you can't really make any kind of complaints because you start off with Mike Deodato when he first started this series, and then we moved on to a couple different artists as we're kind of getting into the last stretch of this arc between Thanos, Thane, Trico, as well as the other people that are participating in the Thanos storyline. Overall, I really like it. It's definitely something that I would recommend people picking up. However, it's definitely not one to jump into because there's a whole hell of a lot of context that you'd be missing out on if you kind of don't read from the beginning. So it's definitely something that I recommend picking up, but take care to make sure that you get all the topics in line. The next thing that I want to talk about is Secret Empire number 10. So this originally was supposed to not happen as far as an issue is concerned. It was supposed to stop at 9, but 10 became the kind of culmination point, and then they actually ended up adding in Secret Empire Omega, which is something we'll get into as far as the storyline kind of goes. But as far as Secret Empire number 10, when we see Secret Empire number 9 finish, we have Steve Rogers with a almost fully formed cosmic cube thrust into his chest wearing an Iron Man type armor, and then going out to confront all the heroes of the Marvel Universe, or at least those that are still alive. The big thing that we run into here is that, Nick Spencer really gives us this insinuation that even though all the greatest heroes of the Marvel Universe are really united to fight against Hydra Cap, he's just not good enough. It's just one of those situations where they are still wasted in the power of this godlike energy that has been thrust upon this Hydra Captain America. And he remakes the entirety of the world in his image, in Hydra's image, only to be foiled by, well, I don't want to necessarily call it a convenient plot device, but it is a great way to insert a lot of kind of moral ambiguity into these kind of things and create a very alarming polarity between Steve Rogers of now and Steve Rogers that appears. So one of the most critical things is that one of the characters that plays the most pivotal role is a Nick Spencer favorite. When he was writing Ant-Man earlier on in 2015 and then moving into 2016, he really grabbed a hold of that character, this kind of Scott Lang, real just out of prison kind of character, and then he gave him a very pivotal role in his Secret Empire storyline, which I thought was really kind of cool. Nice throwback to the work that he'd previously done. And it sets the tone for where the book is going to end up because, the best friend of Captain America brings back the essence, the real basis of Captain America, his real, his core beliefs. And it becomes not only, a situation where Kobik, the Cosmic Cube, finally becomes fully formed and then ends up kind of reconstituting everything. She doesn't actually change the Hydra Captain America. She creates a new Captain America out of the essence of what the best of Captain America was. This non-Hydra Cap, which really is kind of a throwback to some very classic Captain America. And then we ultimately see a confrontation that would be a much more internal, conflict that would really happen amongst, you yourself. Like if you were faced with a very tough decision, you would have your inner demons that you'd be battling, and this is a physical manifestation of Steve Rogers' inner demons. And then ultimately, the best part of us wins out, and then we go into an epilogue. The big thing that I'm really taking away from Secret Empire number 10 is the fact that we see, the worthy Captain America, the worthy Steve Rogers, grab Thor's hammer and kind of deal the final blow in this situation. However, we don't actually see the dissolution or the kind of dismissal of the Hydra Captain America, the Hydra Steve Rogers. So the question that I have for other people, do you believe that there is still two Captain Americas running around? one that is this classic embodiment of justice and truth and, a real pinnacle and a beacon of American hope, and one that is really beset by these Hydra kind of tendencies, these thoughts that are of strength and world domination and, making sure that everybody is ruled accordingly. So we haven't really seen that, and then there's still the Secret Empire Omega, so I think that they're going to deal with that in a little bit more detail because it's going to be Steve versus Steve as far as that's concerned. At least that's what I think is going to happen, but I'm really interested to see what you guys think about this as well. That's going to be a real key point to how the entirety of Secret Empire plays out. It's not the strongest of, events, but it's considerably more enjoyable than the previous ones that we've had. I like it way better than Civil War II, which I was definitely not a big fan of, and then everything else has been kind of lackluster since then. But to finish things off, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about AllStar Batman number 13. So this is not necessarily the final part of the first Ally arc, which has really been a focused story not on Bruce Wayne and Batman, but it's been a really focused story on Alfred Pennyworth and his history. So this book, combined with Tom King, and his run on Batman, has really made me feel like Alfred Pennyworth can be one of the best characters in DC Comics. Because in Tom King's Batman, you have like snarky Alfred, which is super fun. And then in Scott Snyder's All-Star Batman, you have this very capable, almost, a secret agent style mercenary Alfred Pennyworth. So he's got a lot more capabilities. We've already known about this for Alfred, but the fact that he's been kind of thrust into the limelight as a real key point, a focal aspect of Batman and Bruce Wayne's ability to kind of be Batman, to portray this character out in the night and have this kind of backup system of such a capable individual is a really huge point that Scott Snyder's sticking. And I really like the way that's going, especially since Raphael Albuquerque is illustrating it. I'm really a big fan of Raphael's art, and I can't really think of a book where I don't like it. So this is really the best of both situations, great writing, great art, and focusing on a great character. So I really like that. I also picked up Infamous Iron Man. I kind of read that online, and Infamous Iron Man continues to be one of the best books about Victor Von Doom that I've read in recent memory, and we finally get to see who is really pulling the strings, who is the puppet master behind this entire scenario. While you do assume that it is the maker, Reed Richards, from the Ultimate Universe, kind of cavorting with, Victor Von Doom's mom, there is, you've got to kind of go back and do some Doctor Strange, Victor Von Doom history to kind of get the idea of who the major villain of this particular storyline is, but it shouldn't be too difficult for people that are, fans of the character, or at least have done a little bit of research into the kind of connections that Victor Von Doom might have in terms of the magical and mystical components to really figure this one out. They're going to have a hell of a time getting this situation unraveled. So, as of right now, this is my shelf appeal, so I really went light on my books. I've been really kind of cutting down on my pull list, and I actually want to kind of go into more detail with people about that, simply because, I used to pick up 20, 25 books every week to the point where it's just like I couldn't really read them all. I couldn't really do a serious shelf appeal on them, so I really purged a lot of my pull list. I really want to do a video about that, though. I want to go into detail as to what it means to put a book on your pull list and when it kind of becomes time to cut ties with a story that's not really resonating with you. So that's it for this week's Shelf Appeal, but I want to know what you guys picked up this week and what you think about the books that I picked up. So if you want to hit me up in the comments down below, I'd be more than happy to start a conversation with you. And as always, if you like what you see, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to get more news, reviews, and commentary on comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows and games, and anything and everything having to do with comics. Glad to be back.